if all men cheat, does that mean that all women cheat? Of course it does. So if all women cheat and all men cheat, then that means we might as well qualify everything as being true. And if everything is true, that means women have no intuition at all if all men cheat. Because who were the men cheating with? The idea that all men cheat also brings the idea that women have no intuition. Because if they would recognize that if all men cheat, then they will see that they cheat with the men. Case in point about a woman's lack of intuition and how all women cheat if all men cheat.
About 80% of divorced women, the ones that divorced their husbands for cheating, are now actually dating married men.
Yeah.
So literally 80% of divorced women that left their husbands for cheating are now side chicks to married men.
Oh,
Yeah.
what an error.
Error.
So how do we resolve it?
Oh, do you want to
Nobody
resolve
must
it?
leave a man who cheats.
No, it's because staying with a cheating man should never be condoned, right? And dating a married man should never be condoned as well.
At all.
Omunye nomunye must find their own person. Like if you are leaving your partner for cheating.
Okay, so you heard that part. Now, let's see if there's another version of this same story to confirm it.
You're 40 years old. You're like you're never gonna find love. Like, oh my god. Sorry, I woke up like really, really emotional because I was married for. Oh my god, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like I was so used to being a wife. Like I loved being married, you know? Like I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to. And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better, you know?
This is another classic case of a woman who had a loyal husband, a stable home, and 20 years of shared history and still said, I'm bored. So she left. Why? Because the spark was gone. Ma'am, it's a marriage, not a fireworks display. Then she met some new guy who gave her butterflies, which, let's be honest,
Was talking to my ex again, and there was a TikTok. I had a fan on here, a TikTok follower that messaged me, and she said, hey, I started talking to this guy, and I noticed on his Instagram, like those highlight reels. You were in one of his highlight reels. Like you guys made a TikTok together, and I was like, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend, because we were like trying to work things out. It was long distance, whatever. And she's like, oh well, we're talking. He said he was single, and I'm like, I'm not even crying about that. I think I'm just more sad about the fact that like it's impossible. It's impossible to find someone that you will 100% trust. And part of it has to do with me too, because you know, because it's so accessible, social media, talking to other women. Why do I still have my seatbelt on?
ladies and gentlemen, this man didn't just bounce back. He leveled up. Went from husband to player of the year, full transformation, new stats, new jersey, whole new league. She left thinking he'd be at home in a hoodie, crying into a pillow, blasting sad songs, and eating ice cream straight from the tub. Nope. Instead, he hit the gym, hit the glow up, and hit reset. Now, he's got options, like Netflix, but in real life. He's out here double booking emotions like it's Open Table. And the plot twist? He turned the same woman who divorced him into his midweek side quest. She really thought she could just stroll back in like it was still her show. She thought she was the main character. Turns out she's now a recurring guest star with no lines and limited screen time. She figured he'd always be there, waiting around while she found herself. But he evolved. He moved on. And now she's trying to circle back, while he's out here managing a roster like a seasoned coach with a
See, I've always told guys it's harder for women to find one of us than it is for them to find. It's harder for them to find one of us than it is for us to find 10 of them, if that's what we decided to do. And situations like this prove the point. Because yet again, we're back to if all men cheat, then all women cheat. So you went from a wife to an ex-wife to a side chick to the same guy. You can only have the relationship that you can afford, and it has nothing to do with money. Another example of women's intuition not being real, especially if all men cheat and all women cheat, then that means women's intuition isn't real either. So, another example of that would be the fact that if women's intuition was real, they wouldn't get deceived by down low dudes. Here's an example.
So I dated a DL man in Houston back in 2023. Happy Pride to him. And I want to tell this story because I know there's a lot of women in Houston that are just so confused as to why dating is so hard out here. It's because these niggas are gay. And I don't say that in a derogatory way because this nigga is gay. I am bisexual. A lot of these men are fully gay, meaning they don't like women at all. They actually hate our guts, and they're also not sexually attracted to us. And when you have that combination in a man that insists he's into you and loves you and is attracted to you, it can be really fucking confusing. It can really throw you off your game because a lot of straight men do that too. Men lie to women, period, regardless of their sexuality.
So if you have intuition, then you shouldn't get confused that a man, if you play deceitful games, you should already understand that you're in a deceitful atmosphere. So how come you can't sense that? Oh, because you don't have any intuition.
There are always signs when a man is not attracted to women whatsoever. I met this man in 2023 through a mutual friend. He was a retired professional basketball player. He was about 6'7", just very masculine presenting. And honestly, we hit it off. So I was really surprised when at the end of the hangout, he didn't follow up. He didn't try to get my number. So I did what you're literally never supposed to fucking do. I found him on Instagram and I liked a couple photos and I followed him. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Anyway, he ends up sliding in my DMs. We end up making plans. The biggest red flag about this man was that he never wanted to hang out one-on-one despite living alone. And yes, I had been to his house before, so I knew he in fact lived alone. He had a child. I also lived alone, so it never made sense to me that he never wanted to come over, watch a movie, spend the night. Now, I'm no stranger to dealing with men that don't fucking like me, but this was just something a little bit different. A man can hate your fucking guts and still be laid up in your bed every day. So something just wasn't adding up. Anytime we would hang out, his friends would always be present and he would always kind of like parade me around to kind of show me off to his friends. It almost kind of gave like, look guys, like there's a girl here. I like women. Like, see, here's proof.
That's the part where your intuition was supposed to come in and let you know that.
Huge red flag that I so regretfully ignored was that this man did not like
ignoring red flags is a lack of intuition.
Eating box. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Chelsea, you eat box. How in the fuck were you dealing with a man that didn't eat box?
Because you don't have any intuition.
It was a really dark time for me. I don't know. I must have been going through a lot. My head was atrocious, y'all. It was just so bad. And I am 29 years old. I have had my fair share of experiences, but this head from this 35-year-old man, mind you, with a whole child, I have never even touched a vagina in my life.
Because you don't have any intuition.
That paired with the final straw, the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, was that he was constantly asking me about one of my friend's boyfriend's sexuality.
You don't have any intuition.
My friend's boyfriend is super sweet, is obsessed with her, and does not give gay at all. But this man that I was talking to was constantly asking me, oh, why is he so friendly? Are you sure he's not gay? And I tell you, I have never in my life dealt with a man who cared at all about any other man's sexuality. He also used to use the F slur. When he would get angry, anytime he was like playing his video game and he would get really mad, he would just scream the F slur in anger. I just have no idea why I was still dealing with this man at that point, but
because you don't have any intuition.
This was a long time ago, so don't do me. A lot of DL men are in fact bisexual, so they do still have some level of attraction to women, so it's easier to hide. But for the fully DL gay men, y'all ain't fooling nobody. Just come on out of that closet, baby. Anyways, if you're still here, thank you for watching. Be nice in the comments. And if you're a straight man and you're here, that says a lot because this is your For You page. So.
This is where all of my money goes. Every time a bill comes, I just hate owning a home because who needs to pay $250 for fucking electric?
Don't you cry. Remember, strong, independent, don't need no man. Going 50-50 with a man makes you his roommate. and you rather do bad all by yourself. If you decide to take on life by yourself and not have shared responsibility with a man, this is what it looks like. I don't have an issue with a woman not wanting to go 50-50. But if you decide to go down that road and do everything by yourself, you have to then deal with the consequences. We don't need to have you come online and cry about it now, because I'm pretty sure there's a guy out there that would love to come in and cut your electric bill down to $125 so you can save that money instead of paying $250 by yourself. But again, if you choose that route to where you don't want to go 50-50, then you're responsible for 100%.
So women don't have any intuition, according to the examples that we've had set, especially if go right back to, if all men cheat, does that mean all women cheat? Absolutely. And if all women cheat, then they lack intuition if they keep choosing men that they believe all cheat. So, that being said, pay attention to your surroundings, increase your situation awareness, and remember you can only have what you can afford, and it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with character. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm, because that's where life actually happens. Later.